Blog Talk Radio.
Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And in the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I see aspiring to be free. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Within and without, above and below, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. Without and within, below and above, yeah. East, west, north and south, I sense your presence. I sense your presence. In the presence of my Lord of light and love, everything I find in tune with the divine. And here we stand in line, waiting for some sacred sign. But to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I am the light within your soul. In the essence of truth and right, love makes the circle whole. And when I call to thee, and come on bended knee, surrender to the all-pervading light and love. Reflections of the one surrounding me with love. For to find the balance is the purpose of this time. To restore the balance of the universal mind. And I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. Om Shabbat Shalom, Holy Way of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, holy angel of the Most High. Om Shabbat Shalom, I sense your presence. I sense your presence.
Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. My name is Jesse Ann Nichols George, and I am your host. The music you heard at the beginning of the show is I Sense Your Presence by Shemshai. Welcome back to those that are returning, and welcome to those that are just joining us for the first time tonight. Just to let you know, I do focus on helping people find and use compassion in their everyday lives. I created the Genesis Clearing Statement, which some of you may have experienced on previous shows or when I was interviewed by Kevin on his show, Walking on the Sidewalk. If you missed any of those, you can always catch them in the archives. I have also authored 2 books titled Activating Compassion and Activating Compassion The Workbook. In addition, I have created the Compassion Tour, which is a multi-state nationwide tour that includes workshops, retreats, seminars, book signings, and fundraising events. You can check out more about what is happening with the Compassion Tour at jesseannnicholsgeorge.eventbrite.com, and that page will actually show you all of the events that you can currently register for as part of the tour. And also for those of you, if you don't want to make an event, or I should say can't make an event, for one reason or another, maybe you live in a whole other country or something, but you still want to support the work that I'm doing, you can select an option there. It's called Gifting the Tour, and I actually give back to you a little bit. I've got some things that I provide for people that are gifting on the tour. So those are all options there for you. And here at Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, I do look at different ways that compassion exists in our lives. We look at different things like how to remove blocks and resistances, frustrations. Some weeks I'm going to be discussing different aspects on compassion, how that is. My focus is kind of how to help people activate compassion in their everyday life. So a lot of people get this grandiose idea that compassion is 10 hours of meditating and living in a monastery and things like that, but really it's something that every one of us can implement into our life. And then some weeks I'm going to be a little more practical, doing exercises and implementing different things. And a lot of times I'm going to have guests on the show so that you can learn about their work and how other things also complement us and work with compassion. So that's really important because a lot of times we don't even realize things like that. For example, like the guest I have on tonight working with health and nutrition and the people that we've had on in previous nights, like working with hypnosis and other things as well. And compassion comes on all these different levels. I mean, there's compassion with ourselves and compassion with others, compassion that helps us step onto our path. So when I bring these people on, it's really there to help you tap into these more focused areas of compassion. And then some nights I'm just going to have call-in coaching nights. So there's all different kinds of options of how we're going to be doing that, and that's where people can call in and you can share things if you're having trouble getting through things, or you're wanting to make some breakthroughs, or you have some questions that you want to have answered. You can certainly do that as well, and that's really important also because when we're sharing our experiences with people, then we're helping other people learn how to deal with similar situations. So by you asking for help and getting help, then you're also helping other people, which is, I find, very, very important. So tonight on our show, we are going to be taking some callers for coaching and working with the Genesis Clearing Statement, if that's applicable to any of the people that are calling in or have questions tonight. I also have guests Patricia Fenley and Kathleen Ravel, who are the founders of Eat Heal Live, which is in Babylon, New York. And we will be taking live callers that have questions for them as well. So that's going to be an asset. And also, for those of you that don't have a phone that you're calling in from, you can ask questions through chat as well. So, for example, I have one coming in right now, like what kind of questions can we ask? If you're asking questions to me, then it can be a big variety of things, like if you're trying to break through areas in your life, or if you're trying to get answers to something that you're struggling with, or if you're trying to break through something on your path, things like that. Pretty much open, anything. If you're asking questions for our guests, then probably something that pertains to what they're talking about or their field that they deal in would be good. So that's another option there. If you do have a question that you'd like to ask our guests, you can call in on the phone and just press 1, and then that will let me know that you have a question. And once you're done on the phone, you can always just press 2 to go out of the question queue. So it's very easy depending on what you want to do there. And Patricia Fenley and Kathleen Ravel, they're actually going to be hosting 2 single-night events at Eat Heal Live for me. And for those that are around the New York City area, there's a stop I understand that is like a subway or metro stop that comes very close to where they're located, and so that will make it very easy to get to. By the way, these are the only single-night events that I have on the tour. So this is kind of a unique stop that I have going on here. And the emphasis on this stop is going to be how to live compassion and love your life. And we'll be doing the same thing really on both nights that I'm there. Just a reminder that if you're enjoying the show tonight and you like what we're doing here, you like what we're talking about, make certain that you tell your friends, your family, whoever that you want to share this with, Facebook connections, whatever, that they can come and they can listen to this in the archives. So that's really helpful. Even if they're not tuning in live, they can use the same link that you used to get into, and they can also go to my Activating Compassion Facebook page. That's at facebook.com/Activating Compassion, and just click on the notes file. I've got all the archive links in there for that, so that's really, really useful. Now, before we get started on everything, I'm going to turn to what I normally do to open the show, which is go to my book, which is titled The 72 Names of God. It's done by Yehuda Berg, and I love Yehuda because his style is kind of the same as mine. Yehuda puts bigger concepts into really simplified everyday terms, and I use this book oftentimes to just kind of gain some insight and see what's happening through something in my life. So what I'm going to do is just kind of focus and see what our message is going to be for our show tonight, and see what it has to share with us. Okay. And it looks like our message tonight is self-esteem. And when we look at what Yehuda has to share about this, this is kind of an interesting thing. Try to be a little open-minded here and not get too wrapped up on terms as we go here. It says, instead of surrendering our fate to rabbis, priests, medicine men, doctors, lawyers, and other consultants, the 72 names, and this name in particular, empower us to establish our own connection to the light and thus to solve our own problems. This is the original self-help technology. Now, as he goes on, as far as insight to this, when the souls of humanity were created, they inherited the DNA of their creator, according to the sages. This God gene in our soul remains dormant until we activate it through the technology of, in his case, Kabbalah is the system he used. This can be activated actually through a lot of different systems. So some people have Celtic systems, and they'll activate it that way through their belief systems. Some people use religion to create this activation, and of course there's many different varieties of that. It then becomes unleashed in direct proportion to our personal transformation and ascension up the spiritual ladder. So part of what we're looking at here is this is that concept. You've probably heard that concept before, that you are the creator. You are that divine. You are God. God is within you. And this is what it's saying, that, and even the Bible makes references to this, of God made us in his image. And if you're in Celtic religions, the goddess made you in her image. And so we're actually creating, or carrying, I should say, that very makeup, that very energy that is the source of all the universe. It is within us. And all we have to do is tune into that. And as we tune into that and we connect with that, then it allows us to make that ascension. It allows us to move up that spiritual ladder. Ultimately, we have the power within us to resolve all our troubles. You see, God does not actually answer our prayers, we do. Now, this is where one of those things, okay, I can hear the religious people out there going, wait, no, God really answers all of our prayers. So this is kind of that weird circle because God's within us, and so in a sense He's answering our prayers, but He's answering it from within us as well. So part of this is also saying, as opposed to looking outside of ourselves for the answers, we should look inside, because inside of us is where God is. So it's not actually that conflict that we originally think about it being. Now, as we grow, transform, elevate, and evolve spiritually by confronting our own chaos head-on, not fleeing it by escapism or pseudo-spirituality, our own spark of divinity and godliness glimmers with ever-increasing brilliance. Okay? So this is about growing. This is about elevating ourselves. It's about evolving, and that's what we're all here to do. You know, on this show, when you pick up the books and you're reading different authors of things, no matter who that is, Greg Braden, Deepak, whoever it is, it's helping us evolve and to grow along the way. So that's really the thing, is facing it, embracing it, and owning that spark. Because what happens is when we own that spark that's within us, when we own that divinity that's within us, that comes out and it actually becomes a natural level of protection. And this is one of the things that I kind of touch on in some different wording in my book, is that, when we're connected with that light, and again, we're raising our vibrations up. So when we raise our vibrations up, we create that natural level of protection around us, and that's when we're in that flow. That's when we feel like we are the luckiest person in the world. Miracles are manifesting all over the place. So it's saying God is within us. God's always been within us. Okay, whether you use that term of God, goddess, spirit, whatever term you want to use there, divine energy. And so with the divine energy that comes here, it actually connects you to the power of the ancient high priest of the temple in Jerusalem to heal and establish wellness in all areas of your life. So this is really important, because actually some of the things that I'm going to be talking about tonight have to do with this healing pain. And so in doing this, what's really interesting, and I haven't always given the pronunciation of things, but the pronunciation of this particular name of God is simply pronounced hey, hey, hey. And it was really funny, because I kind of thought, I started going off on childhood memories of phrases that would come out from different TV shows going, hey, hey, hey. And so I think you could have a lot of fun with this, actually, with this name of God, hey, hey, hey. And that just reminds you that you're connecting and you're acknowledging and embracing God within. So, hey, pretty cool. Thank you, Yehuda Berg, with his book there, helping us out. Now, as I've talked about in the past, and feel free, if you've got questions, just kind of jump in there, whether you want to call in or, whether you're in the chat room, I've got my eyes on you. Just feel free to go ahead and jump in, and we'll be happy to answer them as they go. And that can be coaching questions or questions that I've been talking about here. Definitely just jump right in there, and I'll be happy to take care of them for you on things. Now, as I've talked about in the past, judgment is a big block. It's our big block to living a compassionate life. And one of the key things that leads to judgment is pain, okay? When we're in pain and we're hurting and we're suffering, we start making judgments that in turn blocks us from getting the life that we really desire to be living. So this is the life that would allow us, for example, to receive all the blessings that we are craving, whether that's money, a better job, security, with how things are going in our life, relationships, health, or, pretty much anything else that's going on. And a big key to getting out of pain in our lives is to create balance. So that's kind of the interesting thing, like I said, where I bring these different guests in to talk with us. We're wanting to create balance in our life. When we're not honoring the different areas of life, we start experiencing pain. And pain isn't just like a physical pain, but it's the pain of, for example, feeling poverty or feeling like you're really struggling financially, or relationship things aren't going well, or you're not able to get a job. So pain comes in a lot of different ways. And if you're not taking that time to create that balance, to get, for example, some physical exercise or movement and some social interaction and rest and nutrition, then you're likely to be, if you're not getting those things, it's going to be really hard to handle things in your life. If you are getting those things, then you're going to be able to handle like spiritual gifts that are coming through, or get through times where you're ready to bring your gift or message to others but are feeling restricted in doing so. So even when your gifts are developing and you're sharing them with others, it's important to still take time for you. And I think that's a really big key that a lot of people forget about when they're on compassion, because they always think, it's always about everybody else, and I've got to give and give and give, and I don't get anything. But it's really important, I find, to take that time for you, because when we take that time for ourselves, we actually have more to share with others. And I'm seeing something come through the chat room, so let me see what we've got here. And let's see. Okay, and I'm seeing I've got somebody here, and they're talking about they've got a website that they've started and for intuitive wellness coaching service, and currently they're offering their services for free. And how can they continue to improve their personal business? Eventually they'll be charging for this, but I'm building the foundation, so I only accept donations. So actually I have to say you're doing one of the really important things that I talk about when bringing out your passion, and that is giving, okay? And when we're giving, we are really, when you're trying to build something like a business like this, you want to do exactly what you're doing, which is to give your services away to a certain extent to help build that up. But you also want to have parameters for that. So if you're doing it free, for example, all the time right now, you might want to start making that transition to putting yourself in a receiving space. And this is an interesting transition to make, because when we allow ourselves and we really open up to receive, what you want to focus on is being able to receive for others. This is a really interesting concept. When we receive for others, what we're doing is it means that we're actually allowing ourselves to receive money and other things so that we can continue to provide and to give to people, whether that's giving services or giving financially or giving of our time or different things like that. So opening up to that receiving. What I would suggest for you is that you start to make that transition. So instead of, for example, making it donations all the time, you might want to pick a day like, and I've seen a lot of people do this and it's working very well for them, pick a day, for example, and say like, okay, Friday is my free reading day. Okay? So anybody who wants to come in, you can set an appointment time with me for Fridays and receive a free reading. But then the rest of the week, you have, for example, times that you charge. And you can start by making it small if you want to. If you're doing short readings, you could do like a 15-minute reading for $15 or something like that. $15 donation or things like that. And you can put it as a donation or as listed as a gift, a $15 gift. in there, and that's a good way to go. So then you start to build up some of that paid business as well, and then it also shows that people have to get you in that certain time frame in order to get that free reading. And then what happens is that will start to build up, and people go, oh, I like what you did, and then you can they'll start wanting to come into the paid times as well. And the other thing that you can do is jump in sometimes, and there's a lot of places that do let you read for free, but if you've got your own website, I would continue to build from there, and I think that's great. And I'm getting true information, okay, and I'm waiting to see. I'm seeing something else being typed in there. So this is a good aspect for all of us, because part of compassion, like I said, is this sharing aspect, is this giving aspect. And so many times we think, but I don't have anything to give. But we do have things to give. I've talked about this in my book, for example, where even giving of time or giving of service is saving somebody money. So it's also equivalent to saving money. And I'm saying, yes, and you've got a blog, and blogs are great, and Facebook. And Facebook's a great way to do it, too, because you can catch a lot of people on and then just go through, and every now and then you could just say, free readings for the next 2 hours or something like that, and that can generate some energy for you. That way you have kind of flow of things going. And sometimes if you're doing those reading type things, then late night is a really good time to catch people, because there's a lot of people late night that want to get that insight. Let's see her, and she's responding back. It is difficult because I think some people mostly want to know their future, but my readings are on personal development. And I've run into that as well, because you do get a lot of people that want that just to know their future, or, who's my next baby daddy. I think that's some of those things, and it's, so you really have to let them know a little bit that this is a coaching session or something, and you may want to bill it more as a coaching session as opposed to a reading. So that might be another option too, right? Looking for clients to want to improve their life. So you may want to also look at how you're phrasing it there, and just say, for example, that you're offering free coaching sessions for life improvement, free assistance with challenges in life. And that might be a way for you to kind of get a better focus of clients in there, as opposed to just the people who want to know whether their boyfriend's going to call them tomorrow night or things like that. So that should help you out on that. Great. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I've got a response, LOL, yes. Yes, because I'm sure she's very used to that, absolutely. So, yeah, feel free to pipe in if anybody's got anything. I've got about 10 minutes here where I can still take any callers or people who want to type into chat that have anything that they're maybe challenged by, or that they're needing some insight in that can help them out as far as either personal development, or if they're building something to help them move more into using their gifts and their talents and bringing their message out, or whether you're hitting blocks or challenges on things. Feel free to jump into that. So it's important, as I was saying, to take time also, not just for yourself, but to get your own experiences, because the more you're getting your own experiences, so for example, like this person that I was just working with, she or he, I'm sorry, I can't quite tell by your name, needs to make sure that they are going out and not just getting experiences, not just getting experiences by getting readings for herself, although that is one good option to get that experience and see how other people are doing readings, but also just getting life experiences, because the more of those life experiences we get by just being outside, being around people, interacting, going places, taking trips, taking workshops, things like that, then the more we're going to have to share and to draw on for other people as well. So that's a really valuable asset there. And if you're working on bringing your gifts out in the world, realize that you get to do this any way that you want, okay? It's not like it's predestined that you have to do it a certain way at a certain time in your life. You actually get to pick what you want and the way you want to do it, but the key is letting go of the how to do it, because that's really up to Spirit, the universe, the divine. We actually don't even have to worry about the how. I mean, how cool is that, right? Because letting go of that how aspect takes a lot of pressure off of us, which is a really interesting aspect, because when we let go of the how and we're taking those times to go out and get our own experiences, we have a combination of things that's happening there. We have a chance to be still and to get into gratitude and to appreciate being able to do the work that we're doing and to bring messages out into the world, or to have the kind of life we're doing. And that gratitude can be simple things. I mean, it can be like, oh, thank goodness I was able to pay my bills this month, or thank goodness I've got a roof over my head, or thank goodness I had 5 minutes to sit and be quiet. These all are things that you can start with for developing that gratitude flow. But what happens is when we start worrying about the how, which isn't even our thing to be concerned about or our thing to worry about, is that it creates tension. And I learned about this years and years ago when I was in college, because I used to have really, really bad test anxiety. And I could know all the information, and then I'd walk in and take a test, and I would just go blank, like I didn't know anything, had never read anything. And I got to a point where I started using meditation and things to work with for that. And what I found, and I later learned as I was doing these techniques, is that when we get stressed and we get tense, information literally cannot pass from one part of the brain to another part of the brain. So it can't transfer from that subconscious or that big holding computer into our conscious brain when we're stressed. It literally creates a barrier in there. So what we have to do is we have to relax. So that's why a lot of times they say just breathe. Just breathe. And the breathing automatically brings us into that relaxed state. And then once we're in that relaxed state, we can recall the information. So that kind of fits in also with our message tonight from Yehuda on self-esteem and tuning into the God within us. People wonder, why do I feel so disconnected? Why aren't these things happening in my life? And it's because what's happening is we've created that block by getting tense and worrying about things and trying to figure out, well, how's this going to happen in my life, instead of just letting go and going, I don't know how it's going to happen. You know, I've decided this is the message I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do workshops on compassion, and I'm going to write books on compassion, and I'm going to help people with their relationships. And God or Spirit's going to have to figure the rest of it out. So it's really cool that I don't have to worry about the how. What I do need to do is I need to be receptive to the opportunities that are then set in my way by Spirit. Okay? So, for example, Spirit sent me this radio show a few weeks ago to do, and Daniel came to me and Kevin Baird came to me, and they're like, how would you like to have your own show? And I'm like, cool, great, I'm there, jump in. And that's kind of a different space. You have to be ready. And if we're worrying about the how and those other details, we're not ready, and oftentimes we actually miss the opportunities that we're sitting there waiting to get. So just think about that. Just focus on the what and let the universe take care of the rest of it, or God or Spirit take care of the rest of it. And in the meantime, think about, as you're manifesting these things, how can you incorporate moments of peace into your life? You know, do you have a deck or a patio or something that you can step out on for like 5 minutes before you go to bed? Can you take 15 to 30 minutes of meditation time during the day? I used to think, I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I've got too many things to do. And by taking that little bit of time, it's like my whole day goes smoother. My thoughts are clearer. I start getting the answers I need. Things come through. It makes a big difference. So I do see that we've got some other people out there in the room. So if you have questions, jump in. I've got about 6 or minutes or so here before we're going to transition into some other things here with some guests that we have coming on tonight. So definitely look at that. So finding those little moments of peace, finding those that you can have on a regular basis is really, really valuable and really, really important to do in our lives. And if you can get out into nature on a regular basis, that's a really cool thing to do and a really important thing to do. I mean, whether that is walking or sitting at the beach or listening to the waves or getting out under pine trees or other trees where you can hear the wind blowing through the leaves. I mean, this is a great time of year. Take a drive out. Go see some fall foliage and catch some of those breezes that are coming through right now. It's just really helps open up the spirit. And for those of you that don't have anything like that around, let's say, you're in the heart of a big city and you can't get to those natural environments, go someplace that has even a water fountain around that you can sit near, okay? Water is a great restorer of energy, and it automatically pulls the stress out of us and naturally calms and brings peace into our being. So, yes, a park's another great place to go and sit and grab some of that sense of nature there. So even if you're in those big cities, you still have those opportunities, and it really will shift you very, very clear. Actually, one of the interesting things that happens if you're near water that is moving, like a water fountain, ideally like a river or the beach, it actually will raise the pH in your body so that it won't be so acidic, and that actually generates some healing energy and some healing through the body for your body to fight off stuff and restore itself. So there's actually physical things that are happening as a result of this, and that's pretty amazing stuff there. It's pretty amazing stuff. So we've got a lot of different aspects, and I wanted to bring this in tonight because I had some people that had commented that I don't get how compassion fits in with, for example, health and nutrition or some of these things. Well, it fits in because compassion, in order for us to become more compassionate people, in order for us to be compassionate with people around us, where we can be in a space to be understanding and helpful to them and guiding them or being of service out there in the world, it starts with us. It starts with that space that we're in. And that means we need to take that time to be calm. And like I said before, a lot of times we worry about, I don't have the time for this, or I don't have the money for this, Jesse. I don't have the money to go pay for the gym membership and work out every day. So that's okay. Go take a walk around the block or learn some yoga poses, and you can do yoga poses at home or things like this. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. You don't have to go work out on the fanciest, most high-tech equipment out there. There's a lot of things you can use to create weightlifting things, but it comes back to taking care of you, getting yourself in that space, because when you get into that space of peace, when you get into learning to be calm, and the more you're tuned into that, the more everything flows. Like I said, it seems like it's time initially. It seems like it's going to take away from things, but it actually doesn't. And again, one of my ways to help with balance is don't overload yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to take 2 or 3 hours out of your day. What you want to do is to find things that you can do in 15 minutes or 30 minutes out of your day, because if that's all it's going to take for you, then it's going to be very easy to meet that. It's going to be very easy to maintain that on a daily basis. And then like once a week, bring it down and bring it into where you are doing more, like maybe you're doing a half a day once a week, and then once a month making it more like 1 or 2 days, things like that. So building it at different increments. You want that variety in there, okay? It's just like you want to have your stable kind of diet, and then you want to have those days that you have maybe a little treat or you have a little something different. So it's the same kind of concept there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a short break because I'm not seeing any more questions come in right at the moment. I'm going to take a short break here. When we come back, I will have Patricia Fenley and Kathleen Ravel with me, and they're going to be discussing their work as certified holistic health coaches and the creators of Eat Heal Live. They actually do a lot more than just the health coaching, so I hope you'll stay tuned because they have some very interesting backgrounds to share with us. And with that, and I think you're going to find it very valuable. They work with some different things that include some chair yoga, actually called Lakshmi Volker chair yoga. So you might want to tune in and find out more about that. In the meantime, I'm going to share some music with you by Shemshai, who, again, is a roots reggae and world fusion group. I met them a few years back in Arizona, and they've been evolving. They're touring worldwide now, and the song I'm going to share right now while we make this transition is called One Divine.
Walk with the angels, we shall soar above the clouds, from here to now. Gliding on the waves of this mystery, unfolding the lotus of our hearts set free, will always be. True spirit resides in the center of love is Yahweh. I am that I am. It's more than I could have said. So rise to your highest perfection. This reflection is the will of one divine, universal mind. And we shall sing in tune with the angels, abiding in eternal harmony. We'll always be. Running with the rhythm of this living stream, we'll flow in the cycle of the endless dream of life revealing the essence of all, and the angels call out the way. All is in your hands, and all is more than I could ever say. The essence of all, and the angels call out the way. All is in your hands. The dark is blinded by the light of day. With the angels, I say, we shall soar above the clouds, from here to now. Gliding on the waves of this mystery, unfolding the lotus of our hearts set free, we'll always be. Running with the rhythm of this living stream, we'll flow in the cycle of the endless dream of life revealing. True spirit resides in the center of love is Yahweh. All is that I am, and all is more than I could ever say. The essence of all, and the angels call out your name. I am that I am. The dark is blinded by the light of day. All is in your
Okay, welcome back. And for those of you that are just tuning in, you are listening to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. You were just listening to One Divine by Shemshai, a roots reggae and world fusion band. We just finished talking about the role of pain in our life, discussing some things in regards to compassion and getting connected with the divine presence within us. If you missed the first part of that show, you can always go back and listen to it in the archives. So definitely I hope you'll take the time to do that. And now I would like to bring on Patricia Fenley and Kathleen Ravel. They're founders of Eat Heal Live, and I would like to give you a little background on them. They're both certified holistic health coaches, and Patricia conducts personal advocacy counseling and wellness workshops combining nutrition and therapeutic yoga, thus helping their clients live healthier and balanced lives. Patricia attended Dowling College in Oakdale, New York, majoring in psychology. She redesigned her career to capitalize her passion for yoga and innate ability to inspire, encourage, and empower individuals. She attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York City, obtaining a certification as a holistic health coach, as well as professional training in health coaching at Purchase College, State University of New York. Patricia is and she'll have to correct me maybe if I say this wrong, Kripalu certified therapeutic restorative yoga teacher, a certified Lakshmi Volker chair yoga teacher, member of the Long Island Yoga Association, American Association of Drugless Practitioners, and the American Holistic Health Association. Her exposure to wellness educators includes Deepak Chopra, Andrew Weil, Barry Sears, Colin Campbell, which is the China study, and David Katz from Yale, Walter Willett from Harvard, as well as many others. And these people gave her the innovative nutritional knowledge that she openly shares with her clients. Her mission is to increase health and wellness across the world through spirit and enthusiasm. Patricia feels privileged to be part of each client's health and wellness journey and ultimate transformation. And then Kathleen Ravel, also again a certified holistic health coach and co-founder of Eat Heal Live, a wellness studio which is in Babylon Village, New York. She is a committed advocate and compassionate advisor, guiding her clients through their individualized life exploration to a healthful life. The cornerstone of her practice is based on change, nurturing body, mind, and spirit. And through this process, Kathleen works with clients to discover the food and lifestyle choices that best support them. As a trusted guide and wellness coach, Kathleen connects to her clients and creates an enlightening path leading to self-discovery and wellness in a non-judgmental setting. And, of course, this is really important with the work I do with compassion because, as we know, getting rid of that judgment, when we do that, it creates a space of safety. And safety is that place that we can create from. So that's where we can actually move forward without the blocks. Kathleen received her training at the Institute of Integrated Nutrition in New York City, where she studied more than 150 dietary theories, encompassing a blend of ancient and modern-day thinking, including the evolving USDA food pyramid, raw food, and Ayurvedic concepts. I mean, that's really kind of an amazing, interesting blend there. Kathleen's background blends corporate, entrepreneurial, and technology-driven endeavors. She has led many successful projects to fruition, working with corporate decision makers throughout her career. She is a certified Lakshmi Volker chair yoga teacher and a member of both the American Holistic Health Association and the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. And through counseling clients, writing information articles, and performing speaking engagements, she spreads the word regarding her passion for health and wellness. And one of her career highlights to this point is a 2010 appearance on a Dr. Oz show segment on wellness. So I probably have to go back and check that out at some point. But so yeah, she's done some big stuff out there. And let me go ahead and I'm going to turn their mics on here so we can bring them on to the lines here. And Kathleen, Patricia, are you both still with me here?
Yes, we are.
Awesome.
We're glad to be here.
Great. I want to welcome you both to Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour here on Main Street Universe. And I do want to share with people, if they want to take a look at all while we're on the line here, that your website is located at eatheallive.com, and I'm going to type that into our chat for our people there. If I can type tonight, we'll see. Okay, there we go. Eat, Heal, Live. So tell us a little bit. I mean, it's such a pleasure to have both of you here, and I want to find out, how did you meet? How did you create and bring together Eat, Heal, Live?
Well, Kathleen, do you want to take that one, or should I go for that?
Sure, I'll take it. Sure, no problem.
Okay.
First of all, I want to thank you for having us, Jesse. Really, we're very honored to be here. And so many things that you said are in such alignment with everything that we try to bring out to our clients and in our workshops. So every time you were making a point, I was saying, yes, we say those type of things. That's what we want, especially with the self-esteem and those type of things. And we can get into that more later, but it's amazing how a lot of it's connected to weight loss and balance and all those type of things. So Patty and I actually met at school the very first day. And it's a funny story because I always say that I was determined to go and not sit with somebody from Long Island, no offense, Patty, but there was 1,300 people in this room for 1 weekend a month for a year. And, I mean, there was people from all over the world. So to me, I was like, I'm going to open up my networking. I'm going to meet all these people, and, I'm going to sit with different people every weekend. But when I walked in the room, I locked eyes with Patty. She had an empty seat next to her, and I just went to sit next to her, and we just really immediately hit it off, and I didn't sit with anybody else for the rest of the year. We didn't really decide to start Eat, Heal, Live until more towards the end of the program. It was kind of like, after we had both been, I'm going to use the word enlightened or awakened or educated on so many things that are wrong with the way people are eating and the way farmers are farming and all this other stuff, we're kind of saying, okay, well, what are you going to do with this? Well, what are you going to do with this? We both decided that we wanted to go into a practice, but we thought it would be really nice, since we had become such great friends, we thought it would be really nice to be able to do it together and have the support of each other. And not have to go out into the world and do something, a little bit different on our own. So that's how we came to be. And we started out, in a very small place, just renting out a couple days a week, sharing some space with a chiropractor in Babylon as well.
I just want to add one more thing to that, Kathleen, that our space found us, just as every place we've been in has found us. Things just appear to us on this journey that we've been taking, and it's almost like when the time is right, it does appear. And I was driving by, and I saw this storefront, and we decided to do this. Now, Kathleen can continue to the rest, but I just wanted to get it out there. Kind of what you were saying, Jesse, is you don't have to really try for it. It does come to you. Once you do get connected and you do feel the light, it will follow you.
Yes, and that's a great point.
And it is, and this is one of the things that I stress is exactly what you're talking about, and what I was talking about earlier is this aspect of, you open up to it. You both opened up this light. You found this connection, and you felt that spirit going through you, and then you opened the door and you said, yes, this is what we want. This is my choice. This is what I want to do. And then you didn't really worry about the how. You kind of went out there and looked, but then it was provided for you. And you
believed.
You believed. You stayed open and receptive to what came in.
Right.
Positive thinking. And still do, and we still do to this day, and probably will continue. We looked in many, we pressed our nose up against many glass windows in Babylon looking at space, but this one space, like Patty said, kept kind of speaking to us. And we went in and met with the chiropractor. Yeah, we met with the chiropractor, and he was a very nice man, gave us a couple of days a week, and we kind of started our little business, and then we realized very soon that we needed our own place because we had a certain way we wanted the space to look. We wanted people to have a feeling when they walked through the door, almost like you were walking into a little bit of a sanctuary. Leave the phone outside, leave the kids outside, leave the husband outside, the wife outside. Come in here and just decompress and be with us, and maybe learn or get counseling or meditate or anything that we might be doing at the time, and use this as a resource if you're not prone to meditating by yourself or doing things like that by yourself. So we started, and again, found us. We were just, where are we going to go? Yes, we have to find somewhere. We kind of want to really get this thing going, and we happened to be just driving, to go get lunch, and we saw the building that you're going to be in now, and there was just a little for rent sign, and it's a beautiful Victorian home, and we looked at each other, and we're like, we're not going to be able to go in there. It's got to be a lot of money. It's going to be, but we said, let's call. Can't hurt. And the space we're in now, we've been in for over a year, and people have really just flocked to it, and they really love this. Everybody comments on how nice it is and what a great feeling it is when they're there, which makes Patty and I very proud, because everything that's on the wall, every candle, every butterfly, every Buddha was picked by both of us with love to go in that office to create this space for people. So when we hear that from people, we can see that we nailed it in that way. We got the feeling that we were going for. So that makes us very, very happy, and it makes people open up, because sometimes when you're at workshops, sometimes you're talking about things that maybe you don't want to talk about in a room full of people that you just met that night. We do have a lot of regulars, but sometimes, there's people that come in, obviously, that never met each other. And when people feel like they're in a safe space, they are more likely to just open up and let go. And hey, here's somebody that's going to listen, because everybody's running so much, and people do too much talking, I think, and not enough listening a lot, So when you come somewhere where people are ready to listen, I think it's a really refreshing thing to people, for people to find.
And I think we also like to create that environment, because when someone does come into our workshop, we make sure they're introduced to everyone else, because we want people to feel comfortable and not afraid to talk. And most of the time we find people will leave friends with people they maybe met for the next time, and they keep coming back to the same workshops. And it's a bond that they've been growing, and it's kind of been something that we wanted to build. We wanted to make a place affordable where people could come and learn how to be healthy and how to take care of themselves and how to feel loved and have people listen to them. Because I think so much today nobody wants to listen to anybody. And that's all people really want. They want someone to listen to them, and they want someone to love them. And they're really basically simple things that really aren't that hard, but most of the places you go, you're not going to find it. And like Kathleen said, we really do try very hard to make the place warm. And we've had people walk in there and just say, I feel so relaxed in here. The energy feels so good in here. And it makes us happy, because that's what we're trying to do. And we did just recently move across the hall, and that also found us. We were not looking to move, and our landlord said, hey, I got a new, bigger space right across the hall. Would you guys be interested? And it was like, huh? And it was a wonderful opportunity, and that, again, I felt was a gift. It definitely was a gift to us, and we plan to continue on offering more programs, more workshops, just trying to get the word out there to help people, because there's so many people that really need our help. There's so much stress in the world, and that's where the yoga comes in. We do breathing techniques, and even in the yoga class, I always will say, it's your time. It's all right to take time for yourself, because so many people feel guilty when they take time for themselves, and they shouldn't, because it just is what they need to do.
And this is so very, very true. I mean, there's a couple of things I've been listening to on here, and I find this when I've worked with clients online, is I have people, they just want somebody to listen to them. They just don't have anybody that does it. And we see this a lot with people, whether they're living on their own, or sometimes, if they've been married for a long time, or women that are trying to raise a family, are all big examples of people that just tend to not get listened to. They're listening to everybody else all day long. They're being there for everybody else, but they need that little sense. And that factor of safety is, again, I can't stress that enough. I mean, when you open that space up, and I've had that many times where people walk into places that I've lived and they say, oh, it's so relaxing here. It's so comfortable here. And it's so important when I use this with my Genesis clearing statement. I mean, before we can clear stuff out, we have to feel safe. And if we're not feeling safe, you can't really get to that spot where you're going to open up and be ready to receive. And I love that you're bringing up this aspect of, we do need that time. We need that time to breathe. We need that time to relax. We need that time to focus on ourselves. And it does. It keeps coming back to that aspect of compassion where if you're not taking time for you, you're actually being very selfish and cheating other people out of you.
Yep. And that's one of the things I do tell my ladies in yoga class. And it's changed my life, and that's why I do what I do, because I want to give the gift that I got from yoga and from school, all those things that I learned that I never knew, and Kathleen will agree on this one, it totally changed our lives. And it's a gift, and I think it's a secret, and I think that more people need to know it. And that's basically how Kathleen and I got into chair yoga, because we figured chair yoga, anybody can do chair yoga. I have clients say to me, I can't do yoga. And I go, can you breathe? And they'll go, yes. I said, you can do yoga, because basically yoga is breathing. And for people who never maybe have exercised, they could sit in a chair and you can, we do movements. You can actually do chair yoga anywhere. We have taken it to do corporate wellness programs. People that are sitting at their desks, we show them moves to, stretch and release stress, and just the breathing alone, the techniques that we can teach. You can take chair yoga to nursing homes. I mean, it's all these people that wouldn't normally be able or think they can do yoga. I mean, you can take it into the hospital when someone's in a hospital bed, and they can do variations of chair yoga, be the breathing, the flexibility, the strength. It's just amazing for your body, for your blood pressure, immunity. And, I mean, a lot of times they use it even when people are going through chemo. Breathing techniques will really help. And that's why we got into the chair yoga, to do it more in the corporate. But then we brought it to our studio, and what we do is we try to introduce it to our clients who come in, and we try to incorporate it in the program. Because when we find that you're working, in which we do, the mind, body, spirit, it tends to help them stay more focused on what they're putting in their bodies. They come more attuned with their bodies. But the most wonderful thing is to watch someone who told me they couldn't do yoga, and now they've gone on from my chair yoga and they do the restorative yoga, which is also very good for you. And when you see them getting the flexibility, and you see the confidence that they're getting in the self and the self-esteem that they're developing from yoga, it's just so rewarding. And actually, what are my next steps I'd love to do is to try to get yoga into the schools, where classroom teachers would just do some breathing techniques or some games and some stretching, and incorporate this somehow in a tiny way into their classrooms. And if maybe we could get that into the schools, maybe we could do away with some of the bullying that's going on into schools and get some compassion and caring towards one another, which yoga does help.
I think it would help with the ADD and ADHD.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like that
been
too.
Proven. Yep, it's been proven by that children who do yoga before and breathing exercises before standardized tests, and their grades improve. They do better on the tests. They do better in school. It's great for ADDH. It's inspires them to establish and maintain a lifetime of wellness. So, I mean, if even classroom teachers, just started introducing some breathing techniques. And, I mean, there are programs out there, and actually we're thinking of bringing a workshop that we would just train teachers. There's a program called Yoga Ed where it's lesson plans and stuff like that where they could incorporate it into their classrooms and, help them out.
I just had an amazing visual while you were talking about that of just, all these kids doing yoga. And, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, what if we didn't have any more bullying? What if we just
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
got there and we didn't have this bullying anymore? What if we had people I'm sitting there thinking of my mom who's 80-some years old, and I'm thinking, wow, what if she could do this? And you get this mind-body thing, and they actually start learning better, and the aggression goes down. I thought, what a change. How amazing would that be?
What a beautiful world it would be. And I know a lot of classroom teachers who aren't yogis themselves, but they have introduced breathing techniques and some, stretching or, jumping up and down or, things just to relax the children. And they find it works amazing. And then somebody came up with, and actually it's promoted by Kripalu, they are training yoga teachers to go out and train regular teachers so that they, even if they're not yogis, they're aware of little things they can just introduce to their, in their classrooms. It's not so much as a program. I know there's a lot of budget cuts in schools and stuff, and not putting it on as a curriculum, but just introducing it. And then I tell you, you get hooked on yoga. And I mean it. I always say to people, I said, it's like the best kept secret. It's like always feeling happy, calm, and peaceful within. And even if you have everything that's going crazy in your life, you can always come back to the breath, and it's just a calming effect. And that's why when I left my certification, you're supposed to say what you want to do with it. And I remember saying to my teacher, I want to make the world do yoga. And she looked at me and she goes, I hope you do.
It is interesting. I mean, I know, for those people who are on tight schedules, yoga is such a great option because it works the body, it works the internal organs, it brings that mind, body, spirit connection through. And part of what happens in bullying is that, and these different other issues that are out there, is there's actually a disconnect that's happening when they're in those stages from spirit. And so that breathing and things brings them back into spirit. Now, I've got somebody actually in the chat room that typed something in here, and they brought in a comment that says, compassion is best taught in the home. There will always be bullying because it is a stage in the psychosocial development of teenagers. What do you think about that?
I definitely believe that compassion, everything starts in the home. I mean, I believe that, the foundation is built in the home for children. Compassion starts in the home. Sympathy, empathy, all those things, and you watch how your parents treat people. You watch how your parents react under situations. Do I think there will always be bullying? Unfortunately, I do, because there'll always be competition and there'll always be, cliques in school, because that is just the way of childhood. I mean, I'm sure we all have horror stories from high school or junior, somebody that made your life miserable or whatever. But what's really important, and I have an 11-year-old, and what I try to instill in him is that you know who you are, you know where you come from, and this is how we handle these situations. We don't fight fire with fire. We rise above it and we stay away from it, and we just walk away and know that, there's a reason why that child is picking on you, or there's a reason why that person's bullying you. Something's going on in their home or their life that's making them lash out. And we could get into a whole conversation about that on its own, because adults do it too. I mean, adults do it too. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. Usually when someone is outwardly I'm going to use the word ugly. I hope I don't get yelled at for using that word. But I'm going to say, outwardly ugly from the inside out, not a physical appearance. There's something behind it that's driving it. Yes, they're hurting.
They're hurting
in some way, shape, or form. They are hurting, and they're hurting so badly that it's coming out.
Right.
So how bad does the pain have to be, right, for it to be coming out like that?
And I actually bring this up in my book too, in regards to that type of action comes from pain. That is the main thing. Somewhere there is pain, there is hurting that's going on in there, and we see this. I was actually having a conversation with my sister about this yesterday, of some of these things. Of, in one sense, we're trying to bring balance and clear some of these extremes, but in another sense, there's always going to be the extremes, because you have always younger souls, developing souls, older souls, just like we always have children and young adults and elderly people
right.
in our society. And so a lot of times these are actions and reactions that come out of younger souls, and of course the environment and what they're growing up in also has a lot to do with what they're taught. They're again, that pain comes from judgments, and a lot of times I find with bullying that, for example, that there's a judgment that you've got to establish a certain control over other people, or you've got to, a man acts this way, and you've got to be tough, and you've got to establish this territory like the alpha male, and things like that. And there's pain associated from that judgment through the children a lot of times. So it's very interesting. Now I got another response back here that says, the best way to fight bullying is to reach adults and parents who create a framework where bullying is allowed. That's an interesting concept. And I think I understand where Babette is going with that, in the sense that if we open up, it's the same thing as I was talking about in creating that balance factor earlier, that we have to honor these different sides and aspects of ourselves and these different characters of ourselves, and I think we can do that without it becoming full-fledged bullying on somebody, where we feel in control or we feel like we have where we're empowered in a situation. So there's options to satisfy those needs and create that balance in there as well.
But it's also different. I think people will bully or pick on people who are different, and they're not accepting the differences. And the one thing I do know, because I've had these experiences with people in my class, that when you do yoga, you do release a lot of pain that you've shoved down inside of you over the years, and you might not even know what it is. But when you're doing a chest opener, you are opening yourself up, which is like releasing a lot of memories or hurt or pain or something that's been down there that might be causing you to not react nicely to people. And if you can release some of this, then maybe you could release some of the anger towards other people. I think bullying, like Kathleen said, is always going to be around, because it's basically your family, and a lot of things contribute to it. But if you take baby steps into starting when children are very young, the yoga studio I attend, they do have a program where they've been working with the kids. It's amazing. They're young. They, do coloring, and they keep reinforcing about how not to be mean, and to, if the child's standing over there by themselves, go over and talk to them. Like, they're trying to instill upon them to take the initiative and try, to be nicer to people. And I think sometimes we're also busy in our world, and adults are guilty of it too, is that we are in a hurry, and, we just don't have time sometimes for people.
Mhm. And Babette brought up another point, and this is so good when we look at all these things from nutrition and yoga. Bullying can't impact a young soul who has been empowered and is supported by parents and loved ones. So even if there is a younger soul, or for example, you have a child, and that child is empowered and they have a lot of self-confidence and self-worth, and that's supported by parents and loved ones, they tend not to get into that bullying role. So,
right.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing here, and I love that you brought up the chair yoga, because I was going to actually ask you about that anyways, and how that works, and it's so great to see that being brought in, because I think it does open up to so many people, as you said, that ordinarily would not have thought that they could have done that with it. Now, I'm kind of interested when a client comes to you and they say, help, help, what do I do?
Help, I want to quit smoking. Help, I want to lose weight.
Something. I don't know what I need, but I need something. Can you fix me? How do you go about working with a client?
Patty, you want to answer that, or do you want me to answer that?
No, you can take that one if you'd like.
Okay. I mean, we have very similar styles of how we handle things, because we are on the same page on how we want to present Eat, Heal, Live to people. So, when a client comes in and they're asking for help, we don't just, if it's, let's say it's a nutrition issue or it's a weight loss issue or something like that, we don't just look at what's going on, what the client's eating. We look at the whole picture. Not necessarily in the first session, but that's why there's a program that runs for, a few months, because it does take time to build that trust and delve in a little bit to, what's going on. Not in a psychology kind of way, not in a we're not therapists, obviously, but it's creating that safe space, that trusting space for people to open up. So the first thing, if it's going to be a nutrition type of thing, we'll just sit down and see, what are they doing now? Tell me what a typical day is like when you're eating. And 9 out of 10 times, we're not hearing, well, I start my morning with quinoa and spinach, and, we're hearing very unhealthy, I grab a Dunkin' Donuts, one of those, 700-800 calorie frozen coffees and a bagel, and then, at like 10:30, I feel tired, so I go and I have a Red Bull or a Starbucks. I mean, I'm giving you an extreme case, but there are a lot. I hear the thread is the same, where it's like, well, I start out with this, and then because that's has no nutritional value, I'm crashing out, so then I go to this, and then for lunch I'm eating now at lunchtime they want to, because of what they did for breakfast or vice versa, they want to watch, so now they're sitting down to like a lean cuisine or something like that. So we start looking at the patterns, and then we start breaking it down a little bit at a time, and we don't, one thing that we stress to clients all the time is it has to be realistic. For you to bring change into your life, it has to be a realistic goal for you. So I can't take your diet and turn it upside down and flip it around and expect you to have success. I need to bring in little pieces at a time. So we kind of call it crowding out. So we bring in new things, so the old things start getting crowded out. And when we start bringing in new things and they start seeing, we ask them to journal and things like that, when they start seeing the difference in how their body's feeling, how they're reacting, their energy levels, maybe they're not crashing, maybe their cravings are reduced, it kind of brings on a momentum of, I want to do more, and now I have energy, and now I can take that walk every night that I always say I'm too tired to do, and it really does take on a life of its own. And it's really amazing to see. It's really. I'm always honored to see it when it happens, because it's just, you just feel like you really are helping somebody, and all you're really doing is guiding. One of the things that Patty and I, why we both wanted to actually open like a wellness center, was because we were so many things that we had learned that we didn't know, we were not aware of. And, you can sit on Google all day long, but there's so much information out there. Let's say you want to learn how to eat raw. I'm just going to throw something out there. You go on Google, and there's so much information to sift through. There's so much. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? This one says that. That one has an opinion. that's where the workshops come in. So we bring in workshops, very inexpensive workshops. Come learn about healthy drinking water. Come learn about how to lose weight without, quote-unquote dieting. Come learn about raw food, healthy cooking, Ayurveda, all these things that we want to bring to the community because it kind of sets them in the right direction and it connects them with a resource of ours who, maybe it's me, maybe it's Patty, maybe it's someone else coming and doing the workshop, but it connects them with them, and now they have someone they can go to if they're interested in raw food. And they actually can ask questions and find a little bit more about it rather than just sitting on the Internet and trying to read all the conflicting information.
And what Kathleen was also saying, sometimes we do have people come in who think they do eat healthy, which I was actually guilty of myself until I went to IIN. I really thought I ate a healthy diet. And I have had people come in that say, I don't know why I can't lose weight. I just eat so healthy. And that's where, as she said, the food log comes in handy. And we also do take people on supermarket, we kind of almost say tours, but it's reading the label. So many people don't realize, because, the front of the box might say heart healthy or something like that, that you have to read the label. I mean, there are whole wheat breads out there that have fructose corn syrup in them. And I remember taking one client to the supermarket, and when we left, she was like in awe. And this was a woman who also thought she ate very healthy. And she said, I can't believe it. She goes, all the stuff I thought that was so healthy, she said, you just showed me that I shouldn't be eating, and just by reading the back of the box, the ingredients. So there is a lot of information, and there's a lot of, I almost say, little tricks that we've learned about eating natural and how you can get rid of your sugar cravings. We actually do a workshop on that. And it really works because I used to crave sugar constantly, and when my body's in balance, I do not crave sugar anymore, and I used to have that brownie in the afternoon, and people still can't believe it. They said, you don't want it? I said, no, I don't crave sugar because I have my body in balance now. And that a lot of that we tried to show to our clients and teach them different ways of eating. But as Kathleen said, if someone comes in and said, I love lasagna, I'm not giving it up, we said, sure, no problem. Because we know once, just as my brownie went bye-bye, we know that once their body is back and back, they're not going to want that. We don't have to tell them to give it up, because that's what we work on. We work on the whole person. A diet to us isn't a word, because you can go on a diet, you'll lose weight, but that's not the reason you're gaining weight. There could be so many issues of why you're gaining weight. I mean, if you're under tremendous stress and you're doing everything right, you're still going to gain weight. So you have to look at the whole picture, and you have to work on the whole body of working on reducing your stress. So you have to do something for that. Or are you not getting enough sleep? Because all these things are factors into whether you're going to lose weight or not and live a healthier life.
And this is so true. I want to jump back and interject one little comment from before that came in after we got started into diet. And that was just Babette had added in here that yoga for a family seems like a perfect tool to get loved ones sitting down together and being emotionally open and present. There you go. There's a whole other product for you.
Isn't that the truth?
But I agree with you, and I love that you have this approach of taking things gradual and comfortable for the individual in making these shifts and these changes, because it's the same thing as I talk to people. People get excited about something, especially when the new year comes around, right? And they've got the New Year's resolutions, and they're like, that's it. I'm going to change everything. I'm cold turkeying everything. I'm giving it all up. And then, a month later, they're right back to their old habits. And, it's the same thing that I had brought in earlier, too, of do these things in small pieces. Break it down into small chunks. So maybe you don't cold turkey at all. Maybe you start and you just say, this one thing I'm going to let go of. Right. And then you just let that go, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later you let go of another thing, or you make another shift in it. And when we do this, we can actually accept it. And when we make those big cold turkey leaps, what it actually is doing energetically to us is throwing us into a space of deprivation. we feel deprived. We feel cheated. We feel unworthy. We actually create our own self-esteem issues when we do that. And when we're in balance, we get back into that energetic state of abundance. So it's a very different thing. So people that are going through these things and they try these cold turkey and they try to do too much too fast on these things, what happens is, without knowing it, they put into this deprivation mode, and then they cannot, they start having problems in other areas of their life, like finances and things like that. And like you say, there's just so many pieces to health. And I know that our emotions, our thoughts, our patterns, like you say, whether people are getting enough rest, whether they're under too much stress, I've experienced that in my life. Why am I eating so well and I'm gaining weight?
Right. Stress
so,
will do that.
So I can completely relate to what you're saying, and there are these different pieces. So it's important to find people like you that are working with that whole self.
And to that point, it is very important that the client feels that it's going to go at their pace. Even if a client walked in and said, I want to give up dairy and I want to give up meat and I want to give up this, I would say, no, we're not going to do all that today or this month. We're going to have to work on that a little bit because, again, we're trying to create a lifestyle change, not a change to get you to lose the weight you're looking to lose. We're trying to create a lifestyle change. So when you are where you want to be and through this journey together, you now know what to do and how to eat. And you don't have to read a label or count calories or, because you're eating real food and you're eating, what your body needs. I heard a statement somewhere that we're overfed and undernourished. And it's so true because we eat, there's so much food, quote-unquote food, in abundance out there with all the fast food and all this other stuff. But nobody's getting nutrition because none of it's nutritious. And that's a big problem because they make it very hard for it to be convenient to get a quick, healthy snack or whatever. Anything that's quick is usually not healthy. I also ask clients, when we first start working together, just forget about the scale. Put the scale away under your bed. I have people that weigh themselves every day. That's crazy, It's crazy from a standpoint of where you were saying, the self-deprivation, the feeling like a failure. Let's work on the issues and let's not focus on the numbers so much for right now. Let's focus on how we can bring little things in. What can we bring in? What will be crowded out? What works for you, what you liked, what you didn't like. Nobody says you have to sit down and like everything that's suggested. And I also always use the 90-10 rule. If 90% of the time you can do the right thing and you're eating well and you're exercising and you're doing everything and you're in a good place and you want to have that piece of cake or that little cookie here and there or whatever that little vice is for you, have it. Because I don't want you to deprive you. Because once you start depriving yourself, something mental clicks, and you're just going to want it. You're going to focus on it, and you're going to want it that much more. So if I give you the permission, of course you can't have it, in abundance every day. But if you know you can have it when you want it, then suddenly it's not so, you don't focus on it so much because if you want it, it's there. But you're really working on doing all the other things. That's in the forefront. Is bringing in the new foods and stuff like that.
Plus, we also make people aware because a lot of times in the society we're looking for a quick fix. And when you're doing a lifestyle change, it takes time. And that's what I kind of stress to my clients is you're not going to lose, like you come back the next time and you're not going to lose weight instantly. You're changing your lifestyle. It's going to take time. We've had people that change their diet to correct. I have a woman who has diabetes, and she's already gone down to stage 1 by her diet. But it took her over a year, and she's determined to keep going, to get off medication for her, for the diabetes, because she's at the point where she could basically regulate it by diet, they told her. So, but she realizes now that it's going to take her some time to do this. And a lot of times I find sometimes clients don't have the patience, but then they come back and it's like, okay, I'm going to do it this way, because they see other people, they see it working for them.
And I do. I think this is just so important, and I love how on your website, for example, you say no one diet works for everyone. And I want to also mention to people here that there's some really great recipes on your website. I'm hoping I get a chance to try them here with them. But just to mention a couple of the ones that I saw in there that caught my attention. Aduki squash soup, which just looked amazing. I mean, I love like butternut squash soup and things. Pumpkin pie with pumpkin seed crust. Now that sounds really different to me, and but very, very healthy. Mint lassi, which is under your juice section. Chocolate covered pomegranate, and it was great. I saw that you had a chicken recipe on there, because so many of the certified holistic health coaches are raw food, that's all you can have. So I'm really enjoying this approach, because I think there are so many people out there that they can't just make that jump. They can't just make that leap. They do need the so-called lifestyle change that you talk about. Now, we do have a couple of foods that are quick and easy, right, that are good for us, like apples, bananas. Well, bananas wouldn't be good for my sister, but she's got a allergy, so bananas would be like shutting down her breathing. But, for most people, that would be something that would be quick and easy. And I think we forget there are some of those things that we can grab in there. I think it was Patty that you mentioned about getting rid of the sugar cravings. Can you give us an idea of something that you did, or how you got to that point where you were getting rid of those, or got rid of those?
I got rid of it by really keeping my body alkaline, by eating a lot of whole foods. And what I crave now in the afternoon is a green juice. And I think what happens with your body, what you put in your body a lot of, you will crave. And it's not even that people maybe eat a lot of sugar, but mostly everything that you purchase, and that was another part of the read the labels, there's sugar in everything, basically. And there's a lot of sugar in the foods that we consume, even if you're not eating candy bars and cookies and cakes and stuff like that. So your body's getting a lot of sugar. So your body's going to be craving sugar. If you can soda is another big one for sugar. If you can start simply eliminating things that have sugar in them, like I had someone that was drinking 8 cans of soda a day. So, I mean, you cannot tell that person, no, don't drink any more soda. So I would say just, each month, just try to eliminate one of those cans of soda. And as you get them to eliminate sugar out of their diet by replacing it with whole foods. Put some almonds in there when you're craving for a snack in the afternoon, because it will fill you up. It's good for your skin. It's good for stress. We actually did a workshop where we put out foods that are good for stress that you can eat when you're stressed and to eliminate stress in your body. So there are ways and that you can get sugar out of your system. I did it. And part of it was when I went to school, when they were telling us all this, I said to myself, this couldn't possibly work. But I'm going to do exactly what they tell me to prove that they're wrong. But they weren't. They were 100% right, because by the end of the school year, I think I had dropped 20 pounds, and I felt fantastic. And I didn't crave sugar anymore. Like I said, I craved green juice in the afternoon. And I think a lot of people have to be aware of what they put in their bodies sometimes, because sometimes you don't realize that, and I didn't realize how much sugar I really consumed in the course of a day before, and that's part of the reason, like the food journals. That's like a biggie when we're counseling people, because it gives us a chance to see what they're eating. They come back for their session, and it's like a lot of times I think they're eating things that are fine, and they don't realize. I mean, if a person was eating a lot of fruit, I mean, there's a lot of sugar in fruit, even though it's natural, sugar. If someone's diabetic, they can't be eating like tons and tons of fruit because it's going to have a lot of sugar, even though it's natural sugar. So.
And I think that's true. I mean, there's definitely hidden things as far as even things like some of the whole wheat breads or so-called healthy breads or gluten-free breads will still have a lot of those.
The fructose corn syrup is in a lot of whole wheat loaves of bread, and I know because I would tell people to have whole wheat bread, but then I'd make a point to say make sure you turn it over and make sure there's no fructose corn syrup in it, because that's another big sugar thing that's really bad for your health.
So, yeah, it definitely plays into it, and I know for myself, I'm one that I like to have my little splurges every now and then.
But yeah, but it's really good, as I say, as a splurge, and it's really good for you because dark chocolate is really good for you. And I'll just say, they have those little berries that are covered with dark chocolate, and you maybe just when your sweet tooth is acting up or you just feel you have to have that, take it. I mean, I eat a piece of dark chocolate every day because of the benefits of it. I mean, not a big piece, but just a little piece. And, I mean, dark chocolate is, believe it or not, is really good for you. Right, Kathleen?
Yes, absolutely. Very high in antioxidants. Raw chocolate, there's no dairy mixed in, so it actually does have health benefits. And that's one of the workshops we always said we were going to get to, and we actually wanted to do a workshop on the benefits of raw chocolate, because what woman wouldn't want to come to a workshop and learn about that it's healthy to eat chocolate? It's like, I have to go eat chocolate, but everything in moderation. And also, to the just about the sweet tooth, another good tip that I give people is, people are hooked on the frozen yogurt and all those kind of things, and you can do a lot of that very easily at home. I'm not talking about making like big things of ice cream. A little food processor, 2 frozen bananas, and a tiny bit of honey, and you have like the most delicious soft serve you ever had. And you could do that with bananas, peaches, berries, and you make a little sorbet. It depends on what you're willing to get into. Somebody says to me, I hate the kitchen and I don't want to do that and whatever, then I wouldn't recommend something like that. But if somebody is comfortable in the kitchen and they do enjoy cooking for their family or for themselves or whatever, the possibilities are endless. And I really, really want to state that eating, we don't, say eat raw, we say eat real. It doesn't have to be boring. Everybody says, if I get it, it's boring. I can't eat anything fun. And that's not true. And I'm glad you brought up the recipes on the website, because you can look on there and see that there are kind of nice things out there, fun things to have that are healthy. They're just not prepackaged, and there's no processed foods and things like that. And what's better for the body and the mind to have a home-cooked meal with your family? Why do we all love the holidays so much? Not just the food, but the idea of family and getting together over that meal and everything else. That's, another thing we talk about, I'm sorry, I'm going into the whole thing, but also mindful eating. When you sit down to eat, turn the TV off, put the iPhone aside. If you're sitting with your husband or your wife, don't talk about stressful things for 15 minutes or 20 minutes while you're eating. Maybe put flowers on the table. Maybe light a candle. Maybe, don't answer the phone. Chew well. Don't bite and swallow. Chew well. All these things kind of make it a ritual. Make it, enjoy it, smell it. Really, we just tend to, how many times are we eating? We're grabbing stuff. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. You grab stuff because you're in your car, you're on the way to a meeting, you got to grab something. Or people say they eat at their kitchen counter. We really have to, it just goes with the whole thing of slowing down just a little bit. I know everybody's busy and everybody's got, tough times are on us right now, and everybody's in a tough situation. But if we don't do these little things, where are we going to be? What are we working for if we're going to be debilitated in our quote-unquote golden years? What are we working for now? And Patty always gives the example of, and I love it, with women specifically, about not taking care of themselves because they put everybody first. When you're on an airplane and the oxygen mask drops, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first, because you can't serve anyone else if you can't breathe. So you need to be in a good space before you go and help your child or your husband or your mom or whatever it might be, and that applies here too. You can't feel guilty to take time for yourself. You know, you can't feel guilty to want to go back and take that little painting class, or a lot of women like scrapbooking and things that they love that they don't do anymore because life has just literally run them over.
And it's so important. It's, as I mentioned earlier, too, it falls right in with getting your own experiences. You've got to take time to get your own experiences because you bring so much more in for other people when you get that. And I find that that's just really an amazing thing. And I love your analogy of putting your air mask on first. That's such a great analogy in there.
I use that in the yoga class all the time because when ladies don't want to take time for themselves, that's where I would say it. To put on your mask first, and that's taking time for yourself, because if you don't, then you're not good to take care of anyone else. And
that's an analogy people can relate to because everyone's heard that.
Oh,
everyone's heard that, right.
They do. They really relate that, and then they'll go, that's true, you know, and it's great. It really is. The other thing I was just going to – oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, we have a few minutes here. I just wanted to touch base. One of the things I had heard with getting rid of sugar cravings was to eat protein. What do you think about that?
Protein as far as just incorporating more of it into your diet?
Or when you're getting
Is that what you mean, just bringing more into it? Because if if you're already eating protein and you're still having the cravings, bringing more in, like beans and stuff like that, would help. Yes, it's a very simple thing. It's any kind of, and I know it sounds silly, but it's any kind of real whole food that your body knows how to process. So, like, anything that's plant-based. Beans would be fine. Things like that. If you don't eat meat or stuff like that. Because when the body brings in nutrient-dense food, it holds on to it and it sheds a lot of the stuff it no longer needs anymore because it now knows it's being fed the way it's meant to be fed. And that's why those things go away. That's why the cravings go away. That's why the weight comes off. Because it's not holding on to stuff. If it doesn't know how to process it, if it's coming in and it's one of these, if you look at ingredients on the back of some of the things, you can't even pronounce it. If you can't pronounce it, your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it does go into that whole thing. But my prescription for people when I say about that is like just flood your diet with greens. Green drinks, green juices, kale, spinach, in whatever capacity you want to have it. I've never recommended protein specifically. I always like to go the green way because that also solves another task I'm trying to get them to follow, which is to bring more greens into their life, on a daily basis, not just I'm going to eat it twice a week. I want you eating it every day, 2 or 3 times a day if you can, but once a day to start would be wonderful.
And plus, when they do introduce more greens into their body, they keep their body alkaline. And when your body is alkaline, it's very hard for inflammation to grow. Inflammation is prone to an acidic body. So by eating plant-based and whole foods and greens especially, and that's how I got rid of my sugar cravings because I really started introducing greens, and as Kathleen is, we're a big believer of getting enough greens and keeping your body alkaline because if your body is alkaline, then inflammation cannot grow.
And I found that too, where I've incorporated more greens recently in my diet. I know it's made a huge difference, and I really don't crave things the way they are. I want to bring up here, again, I want to remind people of your website, which is Eat Heal Live. We've been talking with Kathleen Ravel and Patricia Fenley tonight, and they're doing some amazing work out there, offering low-cost workshops on a variety of things, working with yoga techniques in a variety of different ways. working with health and nutrition. And you can check out more about what they're doing. You can find out some of those amazing recipes for different foods that I mentioned on their website at eatheallive.com. And I wanted to bring up that they are hosting me for offering 2 workshop opportunities. These workshops are on October 15th and 16th. They are 3 hours each night from 6 to 9 in the evening. The same thing is being presented both nights. We've just chose to go with 2 nights to give people options in case one night was better for them than another. They're being held there at their space at Eat Heal Live, which is in Babylon, New York. And their work and what they're doing there, and why I chose to work with them, and hopefully part of why they chose to work with me is about being compassionate with the self. This workshop, the people that attend it are going to learn about identifying hidden layers of judgment and how to release them. They're going to be learning how to activate and implement compassion into everyday life, and to gain an understanding of the impact that compassion has on our life. Bonuses for people that sign up for this workshop, they're going to receive 1 free copy of both of my books, so Activating Compassion and Activating Compassion, the workbook. And right there, I mean, boy, that's worth it. But I find that people, they come initially and they kind of feel a little bit like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but I know I'm supposed to be here. And then by the end, it's kind of like, oh, my gosh, I feel so motivated and I feel so inspired, and I feel like I can go out and do what I want to do now. and those are some of the things that I've had just in very brief contacts with people. The cost of attending either night is $30, and so this is a great option. Like I said, these are the only single-night events that I have on the tour. And it's a great option for those that want to come explore the work that I'm doing. Maybe you've got a little tight budget or you've got limited time, and this is a great option for you. If you want to check out more information, and you can go to, there's 2 different ones for registering for this event depending on which night you want to go to. If you want to go on October 15th, you can go to compassiontourbabylon.eventbrite.com. And if you'd like to go on October 16th, you can go to Compassion Tour Babylon 2, that would be the number 2, .eventbrite.com. So this is really, really going to be a fabulous time, and I really am looking forward to meeting you there, meeting Kathleen and Patricia in person. And I want to thank both of you so much for being on my show tonight.
Well, I want to thank you, Jess, for having us, and we look forward to seeing you and meeting you at our workshop.
Yes, thank you so much. And I do want to mention for whoever is going to the website that the under events, both of the events are up there as well for both nights. There's a link up there as well. So, Jesse, thank you so much. This was really a lot of fun. I wish you much success with your radio show.
Thank you. And for those of you that would like to check out all of the events that are available to register for, you can go to Jesse Ann Nichols George.eventbrite.com. You'll see that at the bottom of the show description and my bio there on the page, the main page here for the show. Just go in there, Jesse Ann Nichols George.eventbrite.com. I've got stops coming up for any of those. You might have remembered last week that we had Mary Beth LaBar and Donna Morin on, and if you're interested in taking advantage of the stop that I have at their place, which is Mary Beth's office, she's offered her office up for our stop there, you've got to be registered by no later than this Sunday. Sunday is the cutoff date for that. And, of course, then we've got the one here in Babylon, New York, that we've been talking about tonight. Also, I've recently added 2 stops in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. One of them is in Pottstown. It's a 2-night event, October 17th and 18th. Also in Phoenixville on the 20th and 21st. That's a full weekend there. Also, I've got stops at Glen Echo, Maryland, right outside of D.C., Washington, D.C., so that's going to be easy and convenient. That's going to be on the 23rd and 25th, so that's 2 nights during the week. I have also added a couple of other things in Arizona. I'm doing a fundraiser for Hopeful Hooves. That is going to be on November 10th and 11th. We're going to be holding it in Scottsdale, Arizona. And also I've got a book signing going on for those of you out in the West area at A Piece of the Universe, and that is going to be on November 9th from 1 to 3. It's possible I might be there a little bit longer than 3 p.m., but just not completely guaranteed. So 1 to 3 is my time slot there. I have to thank Judith so much. She's such a beautiful soul. I've known her for years and years and years, and she just gives and gives and gives, and you're in her presence, and you can just feel all the heart energy coming out of her. So very special thanks to Judith at A Piece of the Universe for hosting that book signing for me. If you'd like to find out more about the work that I'm doing, again, a lot of the information is right there under the show description. You can connect with me at facebook.com/activatingcompassion. In there, you're going to find also all the events I have coming up on the events tab. On the notes tab has all the replays that are going on there, and that'll be important. I've mentioned also, for those of you that have a chance, I'm actually going to be interviewed on my work with Compassion with Richard Dugan tomorrow, and you can catch me on that. It's Richard Dugan's show, Tell Me Your Story, and that can be found at richarddugan.com. That is going on at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific time for that. And there is going to be a replay of that show on October 7th at A2, the number 2, Z, and that's a capital Z, then EN.FM. And so A2Zen.FM. And that's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Central time, 3 p.m. Mountain time, and 2 p.m. Pacific time. Again, also, you can check out my blog at getyourblissOn.tumblr.com and my website at bliss.freetseed.com. So those of you that are interested in purchasing the book, you can get the paperback through Amazon.com and BarnesNoble.com, and then the ebook versions through Smashwords. And that includes getting versions for Kindle and just PDF formats there as well. Don't forget that I do have that little bonus that I offer to my listeners. And with my listeners, anybody who's listening, whether it's live or in the archive, of course, this is always based on availability. If you're listening here at Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour, you can take advantage of my unlimited email coaching at 90% off. So that's a smoking deal. That is at 90% off. That's barely over what I charge for an hour. And I'm also offering 75% off on the quantum energy work that has unlimited email coaching, and that is very intensive work where I'm taking at least 1 hour per day to focus specifically on your needs, your desires, what you're trying to manifest in life, and to help you make the breakthroughs that you're seeking. It's a very intense, energetic work. Next week I will be having guest Amy Harris. She's a Chief Vibrational Officer at Truthful Intuitive Guide to Life Everlasting, and this is a book that she's written. She explores pieces of the human personality puzzle and teaches how to overcome challenges and strengthen your inner guidance, so that's going to be great for us. Don't forget, we've got several other shows here on Main Street Universe. This is Jesse Ann Nichols George. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I look forward to seeing you back here next week as we delve more into activating compassion. And don't forget that if you've enjoyed the show, share it with others. And I'm going to leave you tonight with the song Yearning For, also known as Over and Over. It is by Shemshai. I want to thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next week right here on Activating Compassion in the Midnight Hour. May you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have an amazing week.
And if I could see what makes me soar to the edge of my mind and to touch what seems unreal, just to show you the way that I feel. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune, caught in a balance of sun and moon. Oh, deep inside, the light within, shining to show you it's here to begin. When all I have is all I need, I will soar to the edge of eternity. And we see it eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets that you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart is still yearning for. Yearning for. When all we have is all we need, all that we ask for shall be received. And we see in eye to eye, one within love to be for the divine. And we're walking hand in hand, caught in the balance of God and man. And we are in time with time, one with the season of change inside. And we are in tune with the tune of life in the circle and love in bloom. Over and over, life is your lover, learning to walk just a little bit slower, whispering secrets that you can't keep it. No turning back now, this time we reveal it. One to another, all will discover the essence within the most beautiful lover. Time is still turning, the love is still burning. Deep in your spirit, your heart is still yearning for. Over and over.